most fierce battles of modern era and medieval era. World War I, also known as the Great War, was a global conflict that took place from 1914 to 1918. It involved many nations from around the world, primarily in Europe. The war was fought between two main alliances, the Allies and Central Powers, and was sparked by a combination of political tensions, imperialism, and the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. The war saw the use of new technologies like tanks, airplanes, and chemical weapons and resulted in significant loss of life and dramatic changes to the political map of Europe. World War II. World War II was a major global conflict that occurred from 1939 to 1945. It involved numerous countries across multiple continents, with the two primary alliances being the Allies and the Axis power. The war was triggered by Germany's invasion of Poland and subsequent aggressive actions by their Axis power. It witnessed the use of devastating weapons such as nuclear bombs and saw significant atrocities including the Holocaust. The war ended with the unconditional surrender of Germany and Japan, leading to reordering of the world order and the establishment of the United Nations. The war between the United States and Japan. It was a major conflict that took place during World War II from 1941 to 1945. It began with the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese, prompting the United States to enter the war. The conflict primarily unfolded in the Pacific Theater with intense naval battles and island hopping campaigns. The war saw the use of significant air power and resulted in major turning points like the Battle of Midway and the island battles of Guadalcanal and Iwo Jima. It ultimately culminated in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to Japan's surrender and the end of the war. The Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was a prolonged conflict that occurred from 1955 to 1975. It involved the communism forces of North Vietnam, supported by the Soviet Union and China, against the non-communist South Vietnam, backed by the United States and other allies. The war was a result of Cold War tensions and the desire to prevent the spread of communism in Southeast Asia. It featured guerrilla warfare, extensive bombings, and the controversial use of chemical agents like Agent Orange. The war ended with the fall of Saigon and reunification of Vietnam under communist rule, leading to significant social and political consequences both domestically and internationally. The American Civil War. The American Civil War took place from 1961 to 1965 and was fought between the northern states known as the Union and the southern states known as the Confederacy. The war primarily centered around the issue of slavery and the preservation of the Union. The Confederacy sought to secede from the United States, leading to a violent conflict that saw significant battles such as Gettysburg and Antietam. The Union ultimately emerged victorious, resulting in the abolition of slavery and the preservation of the United States as a single nation.
The Battle of Bannockburn. Medieval battles tended to be as swift as they were savage, typically lasting hours at most. A notable exception was the Battle of Bannockburn, which was a pivotal encounter of the First War of Scottish Independence and saw Robert the Bruce, the King of the Scots, enjoy a major victory over the forces of England's Edward II. Beginning on 23rd June of 13 and 14, the battle spanned two blood-soaked days. Robert the Bruce showed he meant business from the start, personally killing an English knight in a one-on-one fight by hacking his head open with a battle axe. That set the tone for what was to come, with the English sustaining heavy casualties, nearly 12,000 deaths by one estimate, and Robert the Bruce retaking the key stronghold of the Stirling Castle. This famous victory paved the way for the official Scottish independence several years later. The Battle of Jaran-Manji. On the 6th of February 1298, the forces of the Delhi Sultanate, an Islamic empire that stretched over much of modern India, faced off against invaders from the Chagatai Khanate, a part of the Mongol Empire founded by a son of Genghis Khan. The Mongols had conducted a brutal campaign, burning villages and wreaking havoc. The same chronicler reported that over 20,000 Mongols were slaughtered during the battle, with many of the wounded prisoners beheaded. The Delhi Sultanate troops eventually met the invaders at a location called Jaran Manjor, where, according to one contemporary account, the Mongols realized the tables had turned and fled like ants and locked. The Battle of Towton, the biggest battle ever waged on English soil. The confrontation at Towton was part of the Wars of the Roses, when the royal houses of Lancaster and York fought for the control of the country. On the 29th of March 1461, the Yorkist Edward IV, who had recently proclaimed himself king, sought to solidify his position with a decisive victory against the forces of his Lancastrian nemesis, Henry VI. Their troops met in the North Yorkshire community of Towton, where grueling hand-to-hand combat took place during a raging snowstorm. Aged just 18 at the time, Edward was there in person and presided over a truly crushing victory. It's believed as many as 3,800 soldiers died during the 10-hour battle. The night attack at Targopis. One of the most audacious military exploits of Vlad III of Wallachia, aka Vlad the Impaler, took place on 17th of June 1462. This was when he launched a surprise night attack on the camped forces of Mehmed II of the Ottoman Empire, who were attempting an invasion of Wallachia. Mehmed was a formidable enemy, dubbed the Conqueror for taking Constantinople and bringing down the Byzantine Empire a decade before. But that wasn't to be cowed before the night attack. He even went as far as disguising himself as a Turk to brazenly stroll around Mehmed's camp just outside the Wallachian capital of Targopis. After this reconnaissance mission, Vlad returned to his own camp and led his men into a sudden battle with the violence illuminated by flickering torches. It's thought that up to 20,000 men were killed during the attack, though Mehmed himself did manage to escape to fight another day. So like and share, guys. This was the end of the video. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Thanks for watching.